Moving on. Next is an article, a really good one from Forbes, Forbes.com. 5 reasons why identity is becoming B2B marketing's most critical asset. So let me read through it. This is a great article. It says, first key point is B2B marketing systems aren't built for today's buyers. It then goes on to talk about how we have more data than ever, but it's not connected. Attribution is often an identity challenge in disguise. And omni-channel success depends on continuity. Oh, that was a huge point. And identity will shape the next era of B2B marketing. And it goes in and talks about how connecting the customer journey will be a competitive advantage, that blurring the line between B2B and B2C audience strategies will continue to happen. So I think it's a great article. The key points here that really stood out for me is it's true. B2B marketing systems right now are not built the way people are shifting on how they buy, how they do business, and it's all related to AI. People are now, like in the B2B world, right? We see it with our clients. We've seen it for years now, actually several years with our clients, that before in the past, you would have really great content and maybe a good SEO presence with some good CTAs, and maybe you launch a PPC campaign, and maybe, do a little bit of trade show marketing. You have a white paper campaign thrown in the mix, maybe a webinar, and you're good. You're literally good. You really don't need to do much more than that. Your pipeline's nice and full, and in the B2B side. But now it's different. You need all of what I just mentioned, but on top of that, you need to understand who you are as a company. What does your brand look like, right? Attribution is true. It's hard to attribute where leads are coming from on the B2B side of things right now. Google is actually doing a good job. Google Search Console is rolling out AI search visibility reporting in Google Search Console, which is great. But again, it's not tying it all together. You can't easily go into a platform and say, oh, all these conversions came from AI search. Not the case. It's taking the traditional B2B funnel and flipping it on its head completely, upside down, completely, where it's like, okay, someone may see, and this is why we advise our clients, investing in branding is essential today. Investing in multi-channel prong approach to your digital marketing and all your marketing is essential. But then understanding that, hey, just because your SEO isn't driving the traffic it used to or the leads it used to, you still need that good presence. That's a credibility factor. Someone, your potential customers are seeing your brand there. They may not click, they're seeing it. They then go to Chatter, Gemini, or Claude. They're searching, doing research, deep research, not surface level, but deep level research. They're seeing your brand come up in overviews. Then they see your brand. It's not linked. They do it to direct visitor. So the point is, I think that B2B marketing has always been slower to change. It has, where B2C tends to be at the forefront for 2 reasons. One, it's lower dollar value products and services. And typically there's much shorter sales cycles, right? If someone is looking to, is promoting a plumbing company, for instance, or a heating company or something like that, that has, right? Like, it's like, okay, your heating system or your AC system doesn't work. That's an immediate, fast thing. That's not there may be people that are researching for future, like, oh, we need a new furnace, but they usually doesn't get to that, once it gets to that critical point, then they need to go and they need to research and get it done fast. B2B, to a certain extent, tends to be a lot longer, higher dollar value, longer sales cycle. So the point is, I think this is a great article at Forbes.com, but B2B marketing is definitely slow. But those of you that are B2B marketers, definitely continue to innovate, continue to test, continue to invest in all these new marketing mediums. Just because it's new, nothing to be afraid of. It's like you have to test it, continue to evolve your marketing. So Catherine, John, what do you both think on this one?
Prior to AI intervening on the way we gather information, we have been lulled into a false sense of security that all of the things that had worked will always work.
Mm-hmm.
This means our identity too. We let our identity and our branding sort of not slip, but we haven't really looked at it or identified it or made any changes or made sure it was strong enough until it became crucial because
Right.
AI requires that you have a strong brand in order to be visible. So
Right.
we're seeing that all of these marketing activities that we probably should have been nurturing and working on all along, now we're at the point where we've sort of been coasting, and
Yep.
we as a collective, not us necessarily because we've helped our clients do this all along, but now all these things that we maybe have let slip, we shouldn't have let slip in the first place. Now
Right.
it's become important to look at it again
Right.
because it's important again. But we always needed identity. We always needed strong brands to
Mm-hmm.
have a place in our market. And we just need it more now than ever because of how important it is for AI visibility.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely who you are and what you do is the most important thing in the time of AI, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's how AI also knows you, right? It's going online and figuring out who you are and what you do. And if it's not consistent everywhere, it's going to get confused. And
Yep.
that's why that's becoming more and more important in that sense. And then there's directly to customers. For myself, I'm looking at who a company is rather than exactly what they do, right? I'm going to find a company that, or a list of companies that do what I'm looking for. Then I'm going to look at each one, who they are, and decide based on their identity who I'm going to choose,
Mm-hmm.
especially during the time of AI where you can go to a website and not really know if it's done by people or the service that you're paying for is being done by AI, right? So you need to have those markers on your website or social medias that you are real people and your brand is real people doing real things, because if those markers aren't there, then people are going to be turned away from it.
Right. Agreed. Yeah, it's great points. It's very, very true.